Greetings, BookTube. Hi, subscribers. Hi, visitors. Glad you all are here for my August wrap-up and my September TBR. But first, look what my wife bought me. She bought me a bookish tea mug. Isn't that great? I love that. My new bookish tea mug. She's always thinking about me. She's pretty cool. So, my August wrap-up. Okay, I'm almost embarrassed to say that I had 4 DNFs in the month of August. 4 DNFs, can you believe it? The first DNF was Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. This one really surprised me because it was a book I read as a kid. And I loved it. I don't know, I may have been about 9 or 10 years old when I read it. And I loved it. And A.J. Dunn at A.J. Dunn Reads and Writes was doing a group read on their channel for this book. And I thought, what a great nostalgic thing to do, is to go back and read a gem from my childhood. And I just could not get into it. I was just so surprised that I was just flat out bored with it. And as a kid, I remember distinctly loving that book as a kid. But anyway, I guess some things are just not meant to go back and experience. I know AJ reads it once a year and thoroughly enjoys it every year. But for some reason it just didn't speak to me this time, and not going to explore it too much because it just is what it is. My second one was The Spectator Bird by Wallace Stegner. Started out great. I really thought I was going to like this book. It's about a man who is facing aging and observing how his friends are facing aging and the different ways that people face aging, and it started out really good. I was enjoying it, and then all of a sudden I realized I no longer cared about these characters. It was just going around and around in circles. One thing is the same thing over and over again. There was no progression that I could detect in the characters, and I ended up giving up on it. It was an audiobook. I ended up giving up on it because it just stopped speaking to me. And then the next 2 DNFs were both connected to Garb August, which was the reading event curated by Ollie at Criminale. And I just chose poorly. I mean, the whole idea of Garb August was to find the joy of reading trashy novels, which I know the joy of reading trashy novels. There are trashy novels on my favorites list. Books like Valley of the Dolls and books by Jacqueline Briskin and so many others. I know the joy of reading a good trashy novel once in a while. But the 2 that I chose here, The G-String Murders by Gypsy Rose Lee and The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith, again, they just bored me, just like Where the Red Fern Grows did. They just fell flat, and they were not what I like out of a trashy novel. I like rollicking fun. I like a trashy novel to take me some unexpected places, and these, I guess when it comes down to it, they just really weren't qualifying as trashy novels. And I ended up giving up on them. And now the sad. So 4 DNFs. I can't let that happen again. 4 DNFs in 1 month is just unconscionable. But on the good side, on the read aloud. My wife and I read aloud to each other. I'm sure I've mentioned that many times. And we're working through the Charles Todd series of Ian Rutledge mysteries. And we knocked out 2 of them, The Red Door and A Lonely Death, both of which were excellent. The whole Ian Rutledge series so far has been just excellent. And I'm looking forward to the next books. I've talked about these in previous videos about Ian Rutledge and how he's a shell-shocked soldier back from World War I, where he fought in the Somme, and the nature that his shell shock takes is a spoiler, so I can't talk about it, and I wish I could. But the form that it takes is very unique, very chilling at times, and frustrating at other times, and you just feel for this poor guy and what he's going through, trying to live his everyday life back on the Scotland Yard force, and having to deal with the shape of his post-traumatic stress disorder. But anyway, so we did The Red Door and A Lonely Death, both of which were good. Lonely Death had a subplot to it. There were like 2 mysteries in it, a major mystery and a minor mystery. And the minor mystery wrap-up I thought was a little bit contrived. But it wasn't bad enough to ruin the book for me. I thought, okay, Charles, you could have done better. And he has done better. So, but these are books, I think 13 and 14. So at that point, I'm not going to let one slip up ruin the series for me, obviously. And then reading for myself, I read Zombie by Joyce Carol Oates, which I did a review on. The book deeply disturbed me. There was a couple of scenes in it where I just had to put the book down, walk it off, and just shake it off even. But it is a brilliantly written book. Brilliantly written. What Joyce Carol Oates does, putting you into the mind of a serial killer and seeing the events through the serial killer's eyes and through his mind, is a chilling thing to experience. And she is a phenomenal writer. So it's no surprise that she really pulled this off, but it was deeply disturbing. I also read He Died with His Eyes Open by Derek Raymond, which I also did a review on just yesterday. And this one was a British noir novel about a unnamed detective who takes on a case to uncover the murderers of a down-and-out drunkard, so it seems, and the effect it has on his life as he gets to know this victim and gets to dig down deep into this victim's life. It's a good ride to go on. Very, very intense. And I also read Close Range by Annie Prue. This is a collection of short works, short stories, novellas. It includes Brokeback Mountain, which of course became the super famous movie several years ago. And they're all stories about life in Wyoming. And it's captivating the way she writes. She's like Joyce Carol Oates. She is a brilliant writer, and she really plunges you into life in Wyoming, and it's a different kind of life that those folks live. It really is. And it's obvious that that Annie Prue has a passion for the place and the people, and the stories are all entertaining. There wasn't a bad story in it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the book, and it's a 5-star rating for me. So that's my August wrap up. My September TBR, I've taken on a buddy read with Flo at the Grape Jelly Library, and I think there may be a couple of other people joining us. I'm not sure. But we're reading It by Stephen King. And as you know, as many of you know, It by Stephen King is probably one of the longest novels to come out of the 20th century. 1,174 pages on the edition that I have. And I'm going to have to read, I think it came out to 39 pages a day for the entire month to make it in the month. And being the slow reader that I am, that probably means it's going to be my only book for the month of September, with the exception of the read-alouds with my wife. We're moving on with the Charles Todd Ian Rutledge series with a book called The Confession. I'm not sure what it's about yet. I've picked it up from the library, and we'll be starting that probably today. And if we get through that in time, we'll move on to the next one. I'm not sure what that one is, but we'll keep on going until we hit the end of the series. So that's my September TBR and my August wrap-up. And maybe my odds will be better doing only one book with the DNF problem that I had in August. Really, I don't mind DNFing a book, but DNFing 4 books in 1 month, just there was a problem there. And I guess that's it for now. I've got some other episodes coming up, and we'll be seeing you again shortly. Remember that Friday will be Friday First Pages, and then I have coming up part 2 of my favorite 120 books. Got the second 10, and that'll be coming up shortly. So we'll see you all again soon. Always enjoy spending time with you. Please leave comments down below if you know about any of these books that I've talked about. If you've read them, what were your thoughts? What did you read in August? What are you looking to read in September? And I just love the conversation. It really is fun chatting with y'all. And on that note, we'll bid you a fond farewell. See you later.